Hello, guys, and welcome back. You're watching the Camera 64 podcast, and I am your host, Alfonso Chavez. And as always, I am coming to you from sunny San Antonio, Texas, home of our lovely Spurs, guys. Well, today on the show, guys, I wanted to talk to you about lighting situations in different venues and why sometimes you just can't seem to get the color totally correct for some reason or another. Well, I got the perfect picture that illustrates this, and we're going to go through this picture and take a look at it. And you can decide for yourself, and also you can maybe figure out why it is that you cannot get colors correct. Now, getting colors correct is one of the most difficult things to do, but it's not always your fault. It's not always the camera's fault. There's just a whole lot of stuff going on. And so I was doing some editing from a quinceañera I did last week for my high school friend Veronica and her daughter celebrating her quince. So here's the perfect example. This is the perfect storm of all the bad things that can happen to you as a photographer. And I did notice two colors that were kind of in the scene, but I didn't realize that there were actually three different light scenes. So let's take a look at what it looks like here in Lightroom. So here's the picture, and basically in this picture right here, they just finished up the presentation and presentation of the gifts. They've already done their dance, and so now the dance is getting ready to go underway, and the DJ has put out some songs. And so everybody's excited, runs out to the dance floor. Now, at this point, usually what I do is when I'm photographing dancing scenes, they're all totally different, right? Obviously. So in this situation, I do not like to shoot in automatic or AV mode because the situation is so different. And this is one of the perfect examples of that. But basically what I want to do is I want to dial in my exposure. So this is a picture where I'm still dialing in exposure here. This is not the ideal end picture result that I'm looking for, but I'm dialing in my exposure. And then also I'm also using my flash in manual so that way I can dial in the exact power too. And the way that I figure that out is by starting at a low number, 1/28th of a second, and just slowly work my way up. And also things to keep in mind when using the flash too is that your distance to the subject also is something to consider. So if you're taking your pictures 10 feet back, then you know that once that flash is set up in manual mode to that specific, whatever you end up with, let's just say 1/32nd ends up being the perfect flash. So then you know that you got to take all your pictures 10 feet back so that way you get the perfect exposure every single time once it's dialed in manual. But aside from that basically that's where I'm at, where I'm working for. And so this is a picture that's halfway between me working up my flash power, but it's a great picture to illustrate what it is that I'm talking about here. So let's take a look at this picture. So here we are. This is the dance floor, and the dance floor has got a center area, and that center area has got at the very top, you can see right above her crown here, it's got a separation, this kind of border that runs all the way around, and it kind of blocks a majority of the light from these lights up here from spilling over onto the dance floor. So you have an exposure back here all the way around, and then you have a separate exposure here in the dance floor. And so that's why you got to dial in and balance these two. You got to balance your flash to this existing ambient light that's back here. But when I got to this picture and I kept looking at my pictures and the colors were just way off, and also when I was doing the edit up to this point, I was having issues kind of figuring out what was going to be the best thing or the best look for these pictures, because there were three different light situations going on. Now sometimes there's two. It's very rare that you get all three together, but this is exactly what we have here. So if you look at this end of the picture, this upper left hand corner, we have that really daylight Kelvin between 50 and 55, I would say, or 56, somewhere in there. And then you have the middle right here where the exit sign is at, and this is a tungsten. You got a tungsten light set in here, which is giving off a nice warm look and feel to it. And then off to your far right hand side, you have your second exit, And over here, you got a nice green tint. You see how that is? It's nice and green up there. And so this, my friends, will really throw off your color, because now if I correct for this blue light, it's going to change the entire scene. If I correct for this tungsten light right here in the center, again, we're going to get a total different shift of colors. And then same is told for this green over here. So now you got to make a decision. Which one do I want to use? And so this is where it comes down to personal preference. You got to make a decision what's right. And technically there's no right or wrong answer here, guys. It's all about trying to figure out what you think is going to be the best for your pictures for your clients. And so this is why it's always real important that when you're working with somebody or you're meeting with somebody, always send them to your website, because they'll look at the pictures that you have on your website and they'll decide whether or not they like your decisions, because those pictures that they're seeing on your website are the result of decisions you made as a photographer. And chances are, if you've been doing it for any amount of time, you continue to make the same decisions, and so you kind of set up a pattern to where your edits become really similar. Same with me as with any other photographer. You start to get into a habit, and you start to your colors start to look the same. Your look starts to look the same without you even realizing that is exactly what is happening. So that is why it's real important that you send prospective clients and customers to your website, because that way they can look through your pictures, and if there's something on there that they do not like, then that should be a red flag for you to say, hey, maybe my style is not for you. Maybe my decision making is not for you. Because as we all know, a camera is a camera, right? A photo opportunity is a photo opportunity. Now, looking at this picture, you realize that there's 3 different light setups here. So now the way I edit this picture may be totally different from the other person or the other photographer who is going to shoot the same scene, right? It's exactly the same. There's no difference. If they're shooting this, they're going to get the exact same thing. But in the end, it's going to be my decision out here on the edit floor whether or not it's going to be a picture that they're going to like or a picture that they don't like. And sometimes you might end up, no matter who edits this picture, you might end up with something that the customer just doesn't like, period. There's nothing you can do at that point, right, guys? So all we can do is our best, and we ask that, or we hope that the customer likes what it is that we're doing. That's going to be super important. But I just wanted to take the time to show this to you, because a lot of times people don't understand, especially new photographers are like, oh, my colors, I just cannot get them right. Well, this is what it is right here. You have 3 different lights. Now, all these lights are the same. They're all tube lights, but they all come with a different color. When you buy them, they're designated. I wish I had one to show you. But basically, when you buy it, it'll have a tungsten reading on it, and that'll tell you what color that light is. Now, this is a church, obviously, so a church, we all know, works on donations, and so they're not going to spend a whole lot of money on lighting, or they could care less. They're going to pick up the cheapest bulb, whatever it is, and I don't blame them. It's a church, right? They just want to make sure that the facility has lights, but it is going to affect the photographer in so many more ways. And now this is example of lights that are up in the ceiling, but this could also be a DJ. DJs are horrible. Some of them will bring some lights that are just really powerful, and sometimes you have to actually stop what you're doing and walk over to the DJ and ask them to please turn their lights off, because like in this situation here, could you imagine 3 different lighting setups, and let's say he set up an orange light or a blue light or God forbid a purple. Purple's the worst color to work with. Then it becomes just a mess. You can see that there's some color here on her dress, this bright green right here with this purple or red, whatever color that is. But color is your camera's got to make a decision basically at this point. What am I going to do? So I'm just going to do a quick edit on this so you could kind of see what I'm doing. So now for me, I'm only going to worry about what's in this foreground. And even more specific than that is just on her. Now, this is not a picture that I would deliver or anything like that, but I'm just using this as an example so that you can see what it is that we're going to do. So basically, I already had the initial edit done. I'm gonna take some of it off because we don't want the highlights. I'm gonna let the highlights come back, and I am gonna boost my shadows here a little bit so I can bring her out a little bit more. And then I'm gonna bring my exposure up to the point where we can see her. Now you can see this picture is very grainy right here, very grainy. And just so you're aware, my settings on this is 1/60th of a second, f4.5, and my ISO is at 3200. Now you might say, well, why in the hell would you shoot at 3200? And you'd be absolutely right. But I will say this, I think I'm getting a little too far, so I'm gonna go ahead and back down from that. But we'll answer that in another question, guys. We'll talk about ISO and why shooting at 3200 can be a yes as well as being a no too, but we'll talk about that later on. But basically, guys, that's really what it's all about. More than anything, I wanted to show you, because like I said, this was just in a series of pictures that I was working on, and I wanted to show you the three lights, different lights, different colored lights in this situation, making it very difficult, not only for the initial picture taking, but also here in the editing part of it. So guys, I hope you're liking my videos. You know, I'm doing my best to try and get these videos set up and record, and coming up with ideas has been a little bit harder than what I thought it would be. We have gotten better as far as audio is going. I think I kind of figured it out. I'm really liking this microphone that's here in front of me. And just to talk a little bit about my setup. Now, this desk I bought specifically for this this setup, this desk. I ended up buying it at IKEA, and this is a desk that can ride up and down. So sometimes I'll shoot some of my videos standing up. Sometimes I'll do some videos sitting down. Right now I'm sitting down, but this desk was about $250, I think, and it'll raise up to about 4 feet for standing, and as low as 1.5 feet for sitting. But I really have enjoyed this. Let's talk a little bit about the camera that I'm recording on. I happen to own two C100s that I use for when I'm recording quinceañeras and weddings. So I'm using one of those C100s. I have a boom mic, a Sony boom mic up there. I don't know the exact model number on it. I stopped using my lavalier mic for right now until I can kind of figure it out. There's some issues that I've been having with it where it just cuts out, and I'm not sure why that is, but I'm gonna keep trying it. But for this video, I don't have it set on, but this microphone here has been working out really great, and I really think that that's probably the way I'm gonna be moving forward. So I hope that you're liking the way this sounds, guys. And if you are, let me know. If you have any other questions about our setup or how we're doing, let me know. Oh, and also before I forget, this is an SL100 from Godox, and I have a 36-inch softbox on it, and it's kind of pointing downwards, trying to keep some of that light off the back, but I just don't have enough space to kind of pull myself away from this background here. So that's why you get a lot of spill with this light. I may end up getting a crate for this to kind of maybe hopefully point the light a little bit more at me and not so much on the background. But again, that's something we're working on, guys. We are definitely working on. So guys, I hope you really are enjoying my channel. If you are, if you come all the way to this point, please subscribe. It would greatly help my channel. I really appreciate it. If you did like our video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down and tell me why you didn't like it, or what it is that you think I can do that would help you to like my videos. But so that's how you can get it. And also hit the notifications button, so that way you can be notified of my videos, so that you can watch them, or at least start to watch it. Either way, I appreciate any help, any views that I get. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach out to us on our website. It's www.camera64.com, as well as our email. My name is Alfonso, and our email is alfonso@camera64.com. You can send me an email and let me know what you think of the videos. And so with that, guys, we're going to bring this video to an end. We hope you are enjoying these videos. We want you to get out and shoot, have fun. Until next time, you take care. Bye-bye.